XM channel 127, Monday, December 14th. It's a great day. Joe Biden is officially going to be President-elect Joe Biden in a matter of minutes, within an hour or so, once California sends over their electoral slates and confirms it. Don, I got to tell you this. It's remarkable when you think about it. Joe Biden got 306 electoral votes, the most votes of any presidential candidate in the history of this country, over 81 million votes. And you know what? Trump was right. Remember, he promised when he was running for office in 2016, there'd be so much winning. We're going to be like, stop with the winning. It's too much winning. He's right. Well, the winning is great. And it's only because of Trump's failed attempted fascist coup that we had so many chances to win, because normally we just would have won within a few days of election day once they counted the ballots. But because Trump dragged this out, we've had so much winning. I've enjoyed it so much. First, you had the actual election night. Well, a few days later, they, for the first time, announced Joe Biden won. Then there were the recounts. We won those. Then there were the over 50 lawsuits that Trump and his allies filed in federal and state court, and they lost every single one with overthrowing election. Every single one. In sum, altogether, 86 judges rejected either Trump or his allies' post-election lawsuits. 38 of these judges were Republicans. And here's the best part. 8 of the judges who rejected Trump's claims were appointed by, wait for it, Donald J. Trump. Exactly. His own judges, which is just great because do you remember after RBG passed away, Trump says, we've got to get a 9th Supreme Court justice up there because he needs this person to decide the election. He goes, I talk about the election. He goes, quote, I think this will end up in the Supreme Court. And I think it's very important. We have 9 justices, close quotes. And just a couple of weeks ago, one of his main lawyers said, we're waiting for the Supreme Court, of which the president has nominated 3 justices to step in and do something. Well, they did on Friday. They rejected Trump's lawsuit. They rejected the lawsuit by the 18 AGs who were Republicans, over 125 Republican traders who signed on to it, and Donald Trump, who was officially an intervener in this case. And they lost. And the best part is who joined in ruling against Donald Trump? Amy Coney Barrett, Gorsuch, and Kavanaugh, all 3 of his nominees. At 2, Amy Coney Barrett, exactly, gone. And this is really great because this delusion, this lie sold by Team Trump that we've not had a chance to have our case in our day in court, or that all the judges were Obama judges or Democratic judges, destroyed. And you know what? Because now that we can laugh again because Trump's leaving, Saturday Night Live did a great sketch Saturday in just decimating the Trump lies about the election, but they did it by not head on. They did a parody of a sports show that was supposed to be a Sportsmax, which is a parody of Newsmax, which is the pro-Trump network. Newsmax is so pro-Trump. On Friday after the election, after the Supreme Court decision, one of their anchors on air said, it's not over yet. And then he went on to literally lie, saying the votes have not been settled, that was his words, in some of the key states. No, they had all been certified. And that's what they do on Newsmax. They literally lie, just like the OAN. Fox News is slightly more responsible during the day. At night, they're saying things are liars. But here's what they did. On Sportsmax on SNL, which was a fake sports show, it was a show about to give you the real truth about the New York Jets. Now, if you don't know anything about the New York Jets, they are awful, and that's being kind. They lost every one of their games this season. They are the worst team in football. So as of the sketch on Saturday, they were 0-11. They lost all 11 games. So as you might imagine, in this sketch, which made a great point because it mirrored a lot of Trump's claims, they had on these pro-Jet anchors and experts who came on. And it began by slamming the mainstream media like ESPN for saying the Jets had lost all 11 games. And their pro-Jet anchor just yells out, he goes, the truth is the Jets have already won 11 games this season. And then they show the graphics of the game versus the Buffalo Bills. They just played the Bills where the Jets were leading 3-0 in the first quarter and went on to get trounced. Well, the pro-Jet anchor said, something very suspicious happened. How could the Bills score more points in the last 3 quarters unless the game was rigged? Which is exactly like Trump saying that at 10 o'clock on election night he was winning, and then somehow he lost, and Trump called it something very weird happened, and that's how he lost. Yeah, votes were counted. Same thing, they had another really great point. I love this one because Rudy Giuliani, during the day on Saturday before SNL, was on TV talking about he has 1,000 affidavits from Trump supporters somehow supporting Trump's claim he won. Well, on SNL, they had one of the pro-Jet anchors say, I've got 500 affidavits from Jet fans saying they saw the Jets win. Sometimes comedy is so effective. It peels to the BS and the garbage, and it shows you Donald Trump had his day in court. He lost it. He could present evidence. He lost over and over and over again. This was a coup. And we can celebrate now. We won, all of us, everyone together collectively won this election. And it was hard. We were taking on a fascist. We were taking on someone who was an authoritarian, didn't play by any rules of democracy because he doesn't believe in them. I got to be blunt. Only because of a few guardrails held up at the end is why Donald Trump is not president for life. And I mean it when I say president for life, because if they could overturn this election, Donald Trump, his allies, and the media allies, they could have somehow found a way around the 22nd Amendment, which says you can only serve for 2 terms. Believe me, Trump would have been there for life. And it really took the judiciary, including judges Trump appointed, and a handful of Republicans. We can slam these Republicans on everything else. But in Georgia, the Secretary of State, in Arizona, the governor there, Ducey, who's terrible in other things, even the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, who part of the way stood up. You know, you had some Republican elected officials who stood up for America first. They put America first. What Trump wanted, his philosophy is not America first, it's Donald Trump first. Donald Trump over America. And they rejected that. So yeah, I've got to tip my hat for them. Remember, the GOP is the party of fascism. The GOP will even embrace violence, as we've seen over and over. There were death threats against the electors in Wisconsin. 3 of the 10 had death threats. They had to close down the Michigan legislature today before the electors went in because there were credible threats of violence against them. That's the signs of fascism. Fascism is defined by different things, but one of the signature moves is violence. The use of violence to acquire power and the use of violence to retain power. That's what Trump and sadly many of his supporters are about. Now, as of now, they're just threatening violence. You had some isolated pockets over the weekend in Washington, D.C. But still, thankfully, it remained very, very small. And it goes to my theory that a lot of these people on the Trump side are going to talk a big game. But in reality, how many are going to give up their life or their liberty for Donald Trump? Not many. It really isn't. Talk a big game, tweet a lot of things, go to Parler, say your garbage there. In reality, you're not going to do much. So, look, the bottom line is turn off the news. No, not the news, the noise, which sometimes is the news. It's shut off the news from the GOP side and ignore the noise about like on January 6th, they're going to overturn the election. One of the chances of them at the joint session of Congress on January 6th overturning this election, I'll give you the hard facts as a lawyer, and I've written about it. The chances are 0. Zero, absolutely 0. You have nothing to worry about. Trump's gone. Biden's coming in. Our next big focus is the January 5th Senate race in Georgia. That is the key. From there, we got to focus on making this country what it can be, what we hope it can be. We're going to perfect this country. So let's celebrate. Let's enjoy this time. Trump is gone. Joe Biden is president-elect. It's all because of our work. And our next step, January 5th, all of our efforts are going to win the Senate and control the Senate. Thanks for tuning in. Again, my show is live 6 to 9 p.m. on channel 127 on SiriusXM. And if you don't subscribe to SiriusXM, go to the website. There's free trials. Join, then call into the show. Be part of our family. We got a lot of work to do, my friends. Thanks for tuning in.